And now for our next news special report.
In today's special report, we're delving deep into a drama that's gripping the nation. Picture this: President Trump, unflinching and outspoken, takes on Peekaboo James and Judge Engoron in a high-stakes legal showdown in New York. It's a scenario charged with controversy, allegations of business fraud, and a stark valuation dispute over Mar-a-Lago. But it's more than just courtroom drama. It's a battle for the soul of our republic. With a gag order in place, Trump's voice is more vital than ever. This isn't just another trial. It's a narrative filled with political vendettas and questions about American justice. As we unveil this saga, remember, the final thought I'll share is crucial, a perspective every American needs to hear. So stay with us as we dissect every angle of this unprecedented legal tussle right here and right now. Before we dive into our special report, a quick word from our sponsor. Just like the complex news stories we tackle, Ground News helps you navigate the media landscape. In a world where bias often colors the news, Ground News stands out by showing you each story where it sits politically. Take the overlooked story of American gun ownership. While many outlets ignored the poll showing over half of American gun owners own guns, Ground News spotlighted this crucial fact. And as we approach the 2024 election, it's vital to stay fully informed. Subscribe to Ground News at ground.news/nextnews for a 40% discount on unlimited access. Support transparent media and get the full picture with Ground News. The link is in the description. Now, in what can only be described as a spectacle out of a daytime drama, President Trump, a businessman of legendary renown, found himself yet again in the complex web of New York's legal system. The city, a bustling hub of commerce, now seems overshadowed by an attorney general who critics argue has confused law enforcement with political maneuvering. The charge? Business fraud. But this is no ordinary legal proceeding. It's a narrative woven with vendettas against New York's business community, with Trump's family right in the crosshairs. At the heart of this case lies a simple act of capitalism, taking out loans and repaying them. Yet the Attorney General has taken upon herself to question this very practice, launching a lawsuit with what the defense describes as dubious figures. One example being the valuation of Mar-a-Lago, pegged at a meager $18 million, a figure many find laughably low and indicative of the case's farcical nature. And adding to this theater is the reimposition of a gag order, effectively silencing Trump's voice at a crucial juncture. Supporters see this as a tactic not for order, but to stifle defense. This goes against the very grain of the American judicial promise, veering dangerously towards what some dub a banana republic jurisprudence. This moment seems to validate fears of an encroaching Marxism, where courts are arenas for political gain rather than justice. Now, Trump, undeterred by the gag order, took to Truth Social with a defiant post, heading to a witch hunt with a crooked judge and a crazy and racist AG. This case was decided against me before it even started. We won at the appellate division, but highly political and disrespectful Judge Engoron refuses to honor their order. Now let's take a moment to witness Trump's unfiltered words as he arrives at the courtroom, braving what he calls an unprecedented legal skirmish. Watch.
The governor's taking shots at you yesterday, Mr. President. Yesterday, what is your reaction to the governor taking shots?
Thank you very much, everybody. This is a witch hunt, the likes of which probably nobody has ever seen. We put on a case that is absolutely 100%. There's not a judge in the country that wouldn't have given us a total victory, but there's not a judge in the country that would have even taken this case. This is a witch hunt. It's a very corrupt trial.
Are you opening and settling the case?
We won this case at the appellate division. Most of it would cover about 90% of the case. We won this case at the appellate division, and this judge refuses to acknowledge the appellate division. He said very specifically, we're going forward because there's something wrong here. We won this case. Remember this. Just put it in your head. This case was won at the appellate division, and the judge refuses to do what the appellate division demands he do. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. When you win at the appellate division, that's your high court. The judge has to be bound by what their decision is. But we won at the appellate division. Part of that victory was Ivanka, was not having to put herself through this, and they ruled that. But the bigger part of it was that about 90%, because of statute of limitations, about 90% of the case disappears. So remember this, we won the case at the appellate division, the high court, and this judge refuses to acknowledge that victory or that demand. And that's very serious. So we're going in now, we have an expert witness, one of the great experts in the country, and I hope you'll all be able to listen to him. But it'll just be another day.
Are you open to
If
settle the case?
if you look at the case, we did nothing wrong. There were no victims. The bank loves us. The bank testified. They love us. We did absolutely nothing wrong. We never even defaulted. We never had a default letter sent to us. The bank said we were perfect.
In his statement, Trump emphasizes this is a witch hunt, the likes of which probably nobody has ever seen. He lambasts the proceedings, asserting that no other judge would entertain such a case, suggesting deep-seated corruption. And Trump's plea to remember this was a clarion call to witness what he portrays as a miscarriage of justice. He faces the law's machinery, and he stands not just in a legal court, but in the court of public opinion, a battleground that could shape America's political discourse. Moving on, Trump in a pretrial declaration maintains his innocence, stating the case, well, he did nothing wrong. He highlights his financial integrity, pointing out a clean track record with banks. He contrasts the focus of his legal battles with New York's violent crime issues, questioning the Attorney General's priorities and labeling her pursuit as targeted and facilitated by a compromised judicial system. Before entering the courtroom, Trump dismissed the Mar-a-Lago valuation presented by the prosecution, setting his own estimate much higher. This prelude to a legal discourse promises more heat than light. Watch.
The case. We did nothing wrong. There were no victims. The bank loves us. The bank testified. They love us. We did absolutely nothing wrong. We never even defaulted. We never had a default letter sent to us. The bank said we were a perfect customer. The bank didn't even know why they were here. And yet you have people being murdered outside. All over the streets they're being murdered. This violent crime. And this Attorney General who's crazed. She's a lunatic. The Attorney General sits here because she knows that she has a judge, and no matter all the evidence, that judge is going to rule in her favor. He ruled against me before the case even started. The case hadn't started. He knew nothing, and he ruled against me. The other thing is this. He valued Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, because that was good for her case. At a value of $18 million, when in fact it's worth anywhere from 50 to 100 times that amount. Nobody's ever seen anything like it, but just remember what I said at the beginning. We won at the appellate division, and this judge refuses to honor that victory or that decision or that demand.
Mr. Trump, why did you say you'd be a dictator?
Why
did you say you'd be a dictator on day one? Can you explain that, please?
This case against President Trump is a tale where loans were repaid, not defaulted, where a family business is under siege not for misdeeds, but for its success. The prosecution's numbers, especially the Mar-a-Lago valuation, seem more like political posturing than a legal argument. The gag order is another concerning element. It appears less about justice and more about control, a move to handcuff a formidable voice while the narrative is painted unchallenged. This should worry every American, as it shows a legal system potentially weaponized for political ends. This isn't just about one man or one family. It's a cautionary tale of law enforcement being used for political retribution. It's a glimpse into the future that deviates from the republic that our founders envisioned, edging towards a scenario where justice is tipped not by evidence, but by ideology. As we watch this saga unfold, we must ponder, is this the precedent we want? Is this in line with the American way? Or is this a foreboding sign of a Marxist dream taking shape, where the due process becomes an inconvenience to political motives? If you got value from this report, tap subscribe and stay informed about the unfolding narrative that not only affects Trump, but also the very fabric of our American republic. As we conclude today's report, it's imperative to recognize the gravity of President Trump's situation. This is more than a legal battle. It's a fight against a seemingly corrupt system, a struggle for truth and fairness in an era where these values are increasingly under threat. Trump stands as a defiant victor, not just for himself, but as a symbol of resistance against what many see as a deep-seated political vendetta. His battle is emblematic of the challenges facing those who dare to confront the status quo. This is a call to action for every American who values justice and integrity in our republic. We must stand vigilant and support leaders like Trump who have the courage to fight these battles. This isn't just about one man's legal woes. It's about safeguarding our nation's principles and ensuring that our legal system remains a bastion of fairness, not a weapon of political warfare.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.